Hey guys! Welcome back to Rekib related video. With the ever-increasing demand for 75% gasket-mounted boards, Fancy081, a well-known store on Shopee PH, has stepped up and offered something different. Today, we'll be looking at the Fancy081 that was sent to us by Fancy081 for review. But as always, my opinions are my own. Fancy081 is seeing this video at the same time as you do. The Fancy081 is Fancy081's rendition of a 75% gasket-mounted keyboard. In the simple-looking box, you get the keyboard itself wrapped in plastic. Next to that is the braided USB Type-C cable, as well as the manual itself that contains all the shortcuts for the keyboard. Lastly, we get a keycap and switch puller, as well as an extra gray spacebar. The board comes pre-assembled out of the box, with your choice of Lube Gathering Yellow Pros or White Pros, Kale Box Whites, or the one I have here, which are Lube Holy Dog switches. It also comes with a complete set of MDI Propel keycaps to match. Just like other 75% keyboards in its price range, the Fancy081 has an exploded 75% layout, with the arrow keys, function row, as well as the navigation column, all separated with the main keys in the middle. What's different though, is the removal of the fourth key on the navigation column, and the addition of this cool LED indicator that resembles a triangle. The upper LED is the capstock indicator. The rightmost one is the battery status, while the leftmost one is the Bluetooth and 2.4 GHz indicator. Up top is the knob. It acts as a volume rocker as well as a mute button for the PC. As this is a budget board, expect it to be plastic. Thankfully, it does not exhibit any creaking or streaking. I got mine in this white color, though it's more of an off-white to beige. I'd imagine putting XMI keycaps here would fit perfectly. The board is quite light and has a unique design. The borders are quite thick on all sides, whilst the front offers a slight chamfer on the edge. The sides are clean of any designs, and the rear offers a Type-C port and a spot for the dongle. Do note though, that these two are not centered on the board, rather are in between the F8 and F9 keys. The back showcases the two-stage rubber feet, as well as the switches for tri-mode and the OS. It's a pretty simple and safe design, though I have seen this before on another board. The Aegis AC81 looks to have the same design without the knob. This might be and seems to be a cheaper version of that board. See as to it that the Aegis is far more expensive and has a metal chassis. The board is 3 to 5 pin hot swap, meaning you can mount any chair style switch. It also has per key RGB, but sadly it's north facing. It also supports tri-mode connection with a 2000 mAh battery to boot. And with my week-long testing, I wasn't able to deplete the battery on 2.4 GHz and RGB on. I did have a small hiccup one time, where when I woke up the board from sleep, it suddenly spammed the key I last pressed, but after a quick reboot, it was working fine again. The board can also be remapped through their software, though it's not BIA. I just hope on the next revisions, this will be a south-facing design, for us to be able to mount our cherry Propel keycaps. But on the upside, the included MDA Propel keycaps do not exhibit any interference with the switch. Speaking of the switches, these are Jixia and Holy Dog switches, which physically looks like a Holy Panda, but surprisingly are linear and lubed out of the box. The springs are 20.8mm long, and it is two-stage, while the stem is 12.7mm long, making it a short pole switch. Surprisingly, these are factory lubed, and I didn't hear any spring ping or lipping from them. They are also smooth out of the box. I will update the comment section on the materials used on the switch. Just know that these are 3-pin and have a solid top and bottom housing. Later on, we'll hear a sound test of its stock versus modded. But for now, let's talk about the keycaps. As I've said earlier, these are MDA Propel, which resembles the shape of XDA with a squircle design. But it also retains the sculptedness of cherry Propel. The keycaps are PBT and die-sublimated, and are also sharp. The alphas are large and centered, while the mods are text only, even with the arrow keys. My caliper measures them at 1.6mm, and has a fairly good thickness for the keycaps. The plate is made out of aluminum, and has cutouts for the plate mount stabs, as well as the gaskets. There is also plate foam included with the kit, which mutes the pingy sound of the plate. Speaking of gaskets, this is an isolation gasket mount design, with silicone gaskets flanked on all sides of the board. And with the plate being aluminum, and it being silicone, don't expect much flex from this board. Though the typing experience is quite soft, it doesn't offer as much flex as I've expected. It seems to have borrowed the stiffness of the IK75 from what I'm seeing. Granted, we could still mod this to have more flex, and so I did. Before modding it, here it is stock with lube Holy Dog switches, as well as the MDA Propel keycaps. As you can hear, with the plate foam and Holy Dog switches, the board has produced a more lower pitch sound. Perfect if you wanted a muted board, though the plate mount stabs exhibit some ticking out of the box. Let's now mod this keyboard to see if it could produce a better sound. I started by unclipping the case, which was thankfully screwless. I then proceeded by adding 2 layers of tape to the PCB to give the board a more poppy sound signature. Since I didn't hear any hollowness, I wouldn't be adding any more foam to the board. Rather, I tried to reduce the amount of gaskets to see if it would flex more. And as we could see, with only 2 gaskets on each side, we were able to flex the middle portion well. Finally, I also lubed the stabs as well to remove the ticking. And here it is with a little bit of modding. If we look at the market and compare other similar priced keyboards, we could see that the Akko PC75B Plus is the same price, offers ASA keycaps rather than MDA ones, and also has lubed Akko switches to boot. I happen to have one right here. Let's compare it quickly. Both are 75% layout keyboards, with the exception of the Fancy081 losing a key for an indicator. The PC75 has a top mount design, while the Fancy has a gasket mount design, though both are quite stiff. Both have lube switches and keycaps for the price. They're also both tri-mode and have excellent batteries. The Akko is offered with clacky switches, while the Fancy has your choice of Gateron, Kale, and Holy. If we compare them spec for spec, we could see that they're quite similar. Ultimately, it's up to you to choose which one stands out more to you. For me, I'd rather have the Fancy081 if the fight is about the unique design. Then again, I'd rather choose the PC75B for its value for money, having ASA keycaps, and those clacky CS silvers for the same price. Speaking of the price, the Fancy081 will be sold by their Shopee store, and I heard they'll be having an introductory 5% off discount for those who will join their Discord channel as well as their Facebook group. If you love the design and aspects of the keyboard, then surely join their Discord for that discount. Either way, I recommend this too if you're looking for a budget pre-built that is 75% and tri-mode. You wouldn't go wrong with this too, and it's up to you to decide on which design and kit you like, or much prefer, since this hobby is and will always be preference based. So that's about it. What are your thoughts on Fancy081's new keyboard? Would you rather get this or the PC75B Plus? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.